Welcome back to Polished Professionals, the blog and brand to help you conquer the workaday world with style and poise. I'm Mel, the founder of Polished Professionals. I'm an attorney, small business owner, and certified etiquette consultant. If you're new to Polished Professionals, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. You can find out more about us on our blog, polished-professionals.com. Plus, we never want you to miss an episode, so make sure you hit the subscribe button below and the bell so you always are first to know what is happening with Polished Professionals. Anyone else not a morning person? I am the opposite of a morning person. If I had my druthers, I would start my days around 10 or 10:30 in the morning, and I would probably stay up till about 2 in the morning. I find I do my most productive work at night, really late, which is when all of Polished Professionals really happens. But that kind of rhythm does not always work for the work world. Anyone else feel me on that? So what do I do to cope? Drink lots of coffee, for sure. That's the first thing. And I've worked on some ways to make my mornings a little more productive. I've made some shifts in the way I handle things, and I really think they've been effective for me, and so I thought I'd share them with you. So these are my top 4 tips to making your morning routine more effective, especially if you're a night owl like me and don't function at your highest capacity early in the morning. Tip number 1, you will probably turn off this video immediately, especially if you're not a morning person, by this tip, but it is to arrive at work earlier. What do I mean by that? Well, getting to work a little bit earlier can help you get settled in faster. And so by that I mean, get to work a little earlier, go grab your coffee, maybe catch up with your colleagues, do the things that you do the first hour of work, but that are not very useful necessarily to the end of your day, although saying hello to colleagues, making sure everybody knows you're in, those kind of things are very important. But it allows you to get a jump start on the day and give yourself a little more runway and certainly a little more caffeine to get your day going. Now, if showing up to work earlier sounds like the total end of your life, which it does for me, I try to wake up earlier than I would like to, and I do about an hour's worth of emails in the morning. And so that's one of the first things I do during the day is really get an hour's worth of good emails out the door. So that means I've responded to things that came in throughout the evening or late in the afternoon the day before, and I've got some things out into the workforce and helping other people, responding to them, giving them something to work with should they need that. That kind of work allows me, when I do get into the office, which is later than most, and I realize that, but to have gotten some work done prior to getting in the office and make my morning more productive. The second tip to making your mornings more effective is to get rid of those morning meetings. What do I mean by that? Well, inevitably you get into the office and then say you've got 30 minutes before your first meeting. You really don't do a lot of work before that first meeting because, well, you're getting ready for that meeting and you don't think you have enough time to do anything else. And so really the time before the meeting gets wasted in some ways as well because you're preparing for the meeting, trying to get there. So I have tried really to block off most of my mornings in order to get tasks done. So just putting my head down, getting things done, and then saving my meetings for later in the afternoon. For me, that has freed up a lot of my time to be able to meet with people and feel like I've accomplished something prior to those meetings in the afternoon. So if it's possible, think about blocking out time on your calendar daily in order to get these daily tasks done so that by the end of the day, you're really in a thinking, creative mode, able to say you've gotten these other mundane tasks done that you have to do every day, but you've left yourself time in the afternoon for some free thinking. And I really think this is one way that can really help you get more productive in the mornings is being very intentional and blocking off that morning time, trying to keep it free and clear of any interrupting meetings every day. We know that you can't always control your schedule though. So again, that gets back to getting to work earlier or doing some work at home prior to getting into the office that may be really helpful to you to make sure your days feel as productive as possible. The third tip to making your mornings more productive is to set yourself an email hour or 2. So I told you I do early morning emails and set that hour. I also set time in the afternoon. So after I've done some of my daily tasks, I try to make sure I get back to my emails in the afternoon so that there's never a whole lot of lag between when somebody sends me an email and when I at least respond to them or get to read it and understand the urgency or nature of the matter that I'm being emailed about. So setting times to email allows you to be a little more focused in the work that you're doing. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're always going back and forth to emails, you really aren't focusing on your task at hand. And so inevitably, that task at hand takes up more time than it would if you were just focused on it. But we always feel this need to just keep going back to our emails, keep going back to our emails. And you do. In this work world, they expect a response. Everybody expects a response, whether it's your boss, whether it's a client, an outside person, whoever is emailing you, they are expecting a response in a relatively short amount of time. I understand that. That is why making these set hours of the day is one good, easy way to make sure you're responding at least within a 4 or 6 hour period. For me, that has really worked well because what it does is allow me the time to spend doing the tasks I need to do, whether that's for me, brief writing or contract drafting, those kind of things. Those take a lot of time and energy, but they are not done efficiently if I'm always constantly going to one other thing or another. And so again, this allows you to free up that time to really focus on your tasks and hopefully be more efficient at those because you're not peeking into your emails all the time. The final tip to making your mornings more productive is to set a task list. And this isn't any old task list. It is a more productive task list in my mind. So normally my task list looks like finish this contract, return this phone call, go to this meeting, create this document, whatever it is, that's my typical task list, and that it has to be done at some time. It isn't really specific. It often is like I kind of know the urgency of one over the other, but I'm talking about getting a little more specific in your tasks lists and not just when it's due. Because I don't know about you, but I work well when I have a deadline. So understanding the deadlines on your task list is really, and I decided task list is hard to say a lot, so I'll call it something else. Anyway, next time, task list, making sure that you're being specific about that and understanding when things are due, but then not just that, adding in how long you think it will take you. And the reason I say that you want to add in the time you think it will take is because if you're blocking out those times, for example, to say mornings are going to be for doing some of these tasks and then afternoons are for meetings, you can then quantify which of the tasks that are on your list that you can actually do in the time allotted in the morning and do those tasks then. If there's tasks that may take longer than the morning time might allow, then you will add those to the next day or figure out ways you can break things down into 2 reasonable segments. But for me, giving myself actual deadlines helps me to be more productive, and so that's where the task list comes into play to begin with, but then also understanding one more step into it, how long I realistically think something will take, will really allow me to set my schedule and give me a lot more freedom when I think about how I'm using my day and making it more productive. We hope you've liked our top 4 tips to making your mornings more effective. If you've liked what you've seen here, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and the bell so you never miss a show. And again, our website is polished-professionals.com. We're also all over social media and we'd love to connect with you there. We're at polished_professionals on Instagram and so much more, all linked below, as well as this outfit in case you need to add it to your work wardrobe and beyond. Thanks again for watching.